finish the job off, to be honest.
Thank goodness they binned off away goals this season, eh?
Oh, yeah, definitely. But from a spectacle, like Rio said, amazing game, one of the best games of the tournament so far. But if you're from a Real Madrid point of view, you're probably thinking, lucky, fortunate to come away with only a 1-0 deficit in the game. So still a lot to do, but amazing spectacle.
How will they be feeling? I mean, it almost feels like they've lost the game, but they will go in there feeling brilliant, the Real Madrid players.
Yes,
Three times they were 2 goals down.
They will, and you never accuse City of being naive, but they were at times today. When they were 2-0 up and 3-1 up and 4-2 up, they shouldn't have let Madrid back into the game, but I don't know what it was, whether they were just overly confident because they were so far ahead, so superior, and as soon as they went 2 goals ahead, they started to drop deep. So that even the third goal, the Panenka, the penalty, they just had a chance prior to that by Vinicius. They just had another chance by Benzema. And you're thinking to yourself, how's this happened? Yeah. City should just be controlling the game. Now, as soon as it went to 4-2, they should have just went, right, we are either being solid to the back and keeping it at 4-2, or we may nick another goal and go 5-2. But, I'm with the lads. I still think City will score goals and probably win the game over there, the way they've played. But they've given Madrid a slimmer of hope, and once they go back there with the fans, it's a different scenario than it has been tonight.
I think a big change in the way the game went, I think, was Stones coming off. I think Stones' injury was it destabilised the City team, and unfortunately, Fernandinho at 36 years old having to come in and play right back against one of the most informed wingers in the game at the moment. I think that was a vulnerability then in the Man City team.
OK, well, let's get some instant reaction, actually, because Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva are in the tunnel right now. I believe they're with Des. So, Des, all yours.
Yeah, and it's funny because you look at the Atletico Madrid game in the previous round, and it was a team that said, OK, we'll sit back and we'll wait. This was 2 teams going head-to-head, which makes for exciting football. You could see the fans in here. The emotion in this stadium today was crazy. 1 minute, the fans around us, the City fans are up, flying about. All of a sudden, a 2-goal lead goes down to 1 goal. And it happened twice in the game, 2 or 3 times in the game, where you think, oh my God, we think it's over, we think we've done it now, in terms of a City fan, and then all of a sudden, Real Madrid come back again. And that was the great character. And we spoke about experience, didn't we, before the game. Real Madrid showed it.
It was like a couple of boxers just keeping on slugging at each other for the whole game. And I think, sometimes we get so bogged down, don't we, with the specifics of defending and the touchscreen and all the other things. But then you need to talk about momentum in football and the psychological impact of either going a goal ahead or conceding a goal. The game changes entirely.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about it, isn't it? Because we've all played in it and we've all experienced that moment.
3 of us have.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to us. No, we've all experienced those moments where you're way on top in the game and you think this is easy, and then something happens, whether it's just a mistake by a tackle, something where you feel the shift changing. And then it's back to the wall and you think to yourself, how have we just got here? How have we achieved this when we should be way ahead? And it happened today. It didn't happen today once. It happened, 3 times, 2-0, 3-1, 4-2. And I don't know why Manchester City started dropping off and allowing Madrid to come back onto them. Because whenever Manchester City went forward in the game, they dominated so much, made so many chances, that you're thinking to yourself, don't make a mistake, manage the game, 2-0 up, 3-1 up, 4-2 up, just manage the game. And they allowed...
Is that because it's not Pep, though? That's not in his nature?
No, yeah. But also the pressure. We spoke about that and what it does. We've seen elements of it in both teams. The fact that there was no patience in the defending from either team. It was kind of like, I need to win it at all costs, when sometimes the best decision is to just delay and then allow teammates to get back in, which obviously wasn't the case.
Well, it happened with Real Madrid as well. They showed they were naive, even though they're the most experienced team around. Because whenever they got to a goal, Manchester City went down the other end and scored and then made chances again. So it's just one of those things, I think. That's what makes us all, everybody who paid the money, everybody who's watching on the telly, that's why we come back and see it. How can Barcelona beat Liverpool 3-0 and lose 4-0 with the greatest players in the world on the team? That's why we keep watching. Exactly.
It's mad, though. You see that City have won it tonight. So you can't be too despondent and too down. But I guarantee you there'll be players in there who'll be throwing boots, shin pads, socks, everything all over the place.
The fans trudged out underneath us.
Yeah, because they know what was in their palm of their hands at moments in this game, and they've let it slip. But you've got to take that and turn that into a positive. We scored 4 goals here, and we could probably score 4 again.
We'll probably score 4 next week.
I mean, that's what you've got to look at it.
All right, well, let's go through it then, because Bernardo Silva said at the end there, didn't he? In the first 20 minutes, we thought this was going to be a walk in the park, and it felt like it. Utter domination.
Yeah, it did. I think we look at the first goal here. When you look at the way that they open them up, Mahrez there, you've got we showed this at half time. Cavalli, you can see him looking at the De Bruyne. Rodrigo's looking at De Bruyne there. One of them's got to speak to this man here, Valverde, because that's your man. Once he starts making that run there in that area, you're already an opposing midfielder. Valverde's got to see that, but sometimes you need talking to. He doesn't see it. It's a great.
But Ree, from a midfielder's point of view, you know your man is Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
So when that ball's wide, where is Kevin De Bruyne? Where do I need to attach myself? And where is he so I can pick him up? You can't even see him. We speak as a defender. The last thing you want to do from a defensive point of view is make the attacker see your number.
I agree with that, but we all need help.
Yes,
every now
100%.
And you also wonder, is that, I know we said it again, we say for the second goal, if Casemiro's playing tonight, he's probably there. Yeah. He's probably watching Kevin De Bruyne and following him. Fede Valverde's a different type of midfielder than a holding, sitting midfielder who smells danger. Yeah. Fede Valverde wants to run forward, so maybe he's just not aware, hasn't got the same thought process as a defensive midfielder like Casemiro.
100%.
9 minutes later.
Yep, 2-0. I mean, this is wonderful stuff. Phil Foden at first, I thought at times was brilliant today. Great close control. Gets out of a tight area. But this here, I think for an experienced defender, as the ball comes in there, you just take it back for you slowly. Joleon, you know, we said this immediately when this happened. Why are you trying to win the ball there? Yeah. All you've got to do as a defender there in this situation is make him play the ball backwards or let him take a touch. Do not let him turn and face the goal. That's where it's come from. The moment you try to nibble, you give the forward
and he's gone
a
the wrong
chance.
side because now he's turned him inside, so now the whole goal's open. If he goes from the inside, the angle's a bit tighter, but yeah, from someone with so much experience, very, very poor and naive.
So that was the first time in the night when Manchester City had a 2-goal lead and it looked comfortable. Let's have a look at the first time the 2-goal lead got wiped out and it was that man again.
What I would say about this is that this is not necessarily a City mistake or a problem. Maybe Mahrez could have done better there, but they get a bit of fortune, and this is just all, well, as I said at half-time, just all class really. Benzema's movement again is always excellent. He always knows where the defenders are. He's not hurrying up into that space. He takes his time. He almost ambles in. He wants it in that space, stops, then goes again, so he's not offside. Gets across Zinchenko, and it's really nice connection. Yes, it's bobbled, not flying in, but the angle of the punt into the floor and off the post, Ederson can't do anything about it.
Could they have done more defensively there, or is that just...
No, like I said there, you probably question Mahrez, but he offers so much going forward. I don't expect him to win 50-50.
Yeah, exactly.
But in regards to the shape, it looks solid, and they're crossing the ball from a wide area, but it's outside the box or on the edge of the box, and you're thinking, if you're going to have an opportunity, it's going to be from there.
Look, we'll talk about Fernandinho and the challenge that he faced this evening from a defensive perspective. But obviously, he was then the man who came on the pitch and got the assist for Phil Foden's goal.
Yeah, aggressive on the front foot, really going to things, attacking the ball. And it was important in the goal. It was a pivotal moment in terms of creating this opportunity. Yeah, we can pick holes in the way he played, but this is one area that you thought, wow, at his age doing this, fantastic ball. But Phil Foden, that's Raheem Sterling in the last 4 or 5 years, inside the post as a wide man, coming in, smelling where the goals are going to be. It's an easy header in the end, but his position allows that.
He recognises the situation faster than anyone. He's on the move, and all of a sudden it's a free header, and you could question where's Carvalho there. But in regards to Phil Foden, understood the picture and got into the box.
And then this is the exact point, Macca, where you're saying, manage the game. Manage the game now.
This was a real ugly goal to concede. Very, very ugly. He tries to do exactly the same again, Fernandinho. And you can almost say, why not? But Vinicius has learned that was a mistake from Vinicius that time.
Do you think because he nicked the ball for that goal?
Yes, he was doing exactly the same. If you see it, it's almost...
I'll play it for you here, Macca.
It's almost exactly the same. Phil Mendy plays him the ball, but this time he's alert Vinicius. He knows he's coming and he dummies it. So Fernandinho then needs help off someone, and he should get across. Has to. Forget about Benzema. I have no idea. I mean, these two boys are centre-halves. They might explain it better, but he has to forget about Benzema.
He has to recognise the situation, but also potentially comes from Zinchenko telling him to get across. But I think...
He can see it.
Yeah. If Laporte goes across Zinchenko naturally comes across then.
And you forget about the wide
Yeah,
back.
and what you want to do is make the pass go backwards, because then it's coming into your teammates, so you're delaying the ball going back and you're allowing your teammates to recover, because even Benzema at the end, he pulls away.
But, and the thing is as well, if you look here, look at Zinchenko. Zinchenko's actually
Has he got
marking.
him?
Yeah.
He's marking
Got him.
Benzema, so that should release Laporte to get out there and
But
defend
again,
against it. But
does he know? Yeah, does he
He's gotta
know he's
talk.
marking him? The
Yeah.
fact that there's probably no communication, he doesn't know that Zinchenko's in position to pick him up.
The madness of the goal sums up the madness of the night, doesn't it?
That particular goal does, because he runs 50, 60 yards and gets into the 6-yard box when he slots it home without a challenge from anybody, and that shouldn't happen at this level.
And to be fair to him, Vinicius, today he didn't play well. Got the one chance though, put it in the back of the net. So he showed his quality, but I think Laporte, he could stop that goal way earlier.
We're talking about madness. Let's try and pick the bones out of this one then. The ref was brilliant to play advantage.
Yeah.
What impact do we think it had, though, on the opposition, on the defenders, on the goalkeeper?
Yeah, you could say that they're waiting for the whistle to be blown because they see the whistle go towards his mouth, but the old cliche, you play to the whistle. The fact that he's got fouled, and great decision by the ref to play the advantage, but you cannot take nothing away from Bernardo Silva's finish. Yeah, I think that the speed of it, I don't think the keeper is able to react. It's evident that he isn't, because he doesn't move, but he's the first one to react, Bernardo Silva. He picks up the ball and he's surrounded, so is that even at an advantage?
At first I thought it was keeper's got to save it. It's near side. He's that side of the goal, more importantly. But when you see it here, the way the ball just sits up beautifully for him, it's a lovely strike, clean as you like. Look, the ball doesn't move in slow motion like that. It's so clean.
But if looks like he's setting himself, doesn't he?
But if you're picking a scenario and Zinchenko's just been fouled, would you want a free kick for Kevin De Bruyne, or would you want him to pick up the ball surrounded by 3 players? You'd probably want the free kick. So the fact that he's took the responsibility and to do that is amazing.
OK, can we talk about mentality now for a second? When you've missed 3 of your last 4 penalties, and you're in a Champions League semi-final, and it's been this crazy to and fro game. Just break down for people at home and people like me that have never played the game of football. At what point do you think Karim Benzema decides to do what he does from
He missed 2 in his last game against Osasuna, and the goalkeeper
saved him.
Yes, keeper saved him, and he's probably thought, or he may have thought, I have no idea, he may have thought that Ederson's studying where he's trying to put the ball. He's probably studied him. He's put 4 there in the last 10, he's put 5 there, because he scored a lot of penalties. He's missed 4 this season already, even though he scored all the goals. He hasn't done a Panenka, so instead of him going left or right, he's probably thinking, you know what, now's the time. I mean...
Yeah, I didn't have that.
I didn't have that in training. Mentally, you have to be rock solid, don't you?
No.
I grabbed, I went, oh my God, what's going on? How dare he?
I mean, let's put it right.
First of all, penalty, no question.
It was a penalty.
Yeah. But you've got to remember, I think Glenn said it in the commentary, how long it takes between that incident there and actually the ball being on the spot and him taking it. It's a long time to think. And the more time you've got to think, the more nerves, the more...
Well, I don't know with him if there's nerves involved.
He's cold. Ice cold, this guy.
Yeah.
Like I said before, he's won 4 Champions League.
Yes.
This is a minor to him.
And also, Ray, that's his 41st and 41 games this year.
Yeah.
He's been there, he's seen this.
Is that his first Champions League penalty as well?
When do you think he decided to go with the Panenka then?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If it's last minute, it don't matter. He's executed. Look at him.
The execution makes me know he thought about it.
They're not 4-0 up. They're 4-2 down when he's doing that. So he knows that if he misses,
it's game over.
The pressure's on, and he's going to get, regardless of his record this year, he'll be criticised to the hilt after not letting somebody else take the penalty because he's missed.
And I think a lot of people will talk about the Panenka, and that, rightly so, that should get a lot of highlight. But his all-round game, again today, was something to marvel at. Again, retaining the ball, retaining possession, bringing others into it, pressing at times as well, and obviously taking up positions to finish the chances that come into the box. Wasn't even a chance, really. Yeah. But he is an absolute fantastic, fabulously talented player.
Having these 2 defenders in the UCL, we're not focusing so much on the goal scorers. 7 goals scored in tonight's semi-final. Remarkable game of football, of course. What do the managers make of it? Well, individual moments are ugly. It still makes the game beautiful. And as he said there, we created chances. The 2 sides between them, 27 chances tonight. But when Pep lays down on the pillow and tries and works out how a side that haven't conceded a goal in the knockout stages of the competition this season conceded that many chances this evening, what answers does he come up with?
I think the fact that both of his normal right backs weren't available. Then the right back he put in, John Stones, was injured in the game. I think that was a big turning point in destabilising the team. Then Fernandinho comes in, who's not suited to playing right back, but he's the only person who he feels capable to play. He's 36 years old against one of the most informed left wingers in the game at the moment. So all those factors added up, it can change the dynamic of the team, and I think that was a contributing factor. It wasn't the be-all and end-all, and I just think that
it's Real Madrid though as well.
It is that as
Real
well.
Madrid. It's not Sporting or Atletico in the greatest respects, like arguably the greatest team in this competition. But when the dust settles on this performance, maybe even after the Leeds game, they'll look back and be like, we're disappointed with a victory over Real Madrid. Like, you shouldn't be disappointed. And when you go in there to the Bernabeu with the mindset of winning and the capabilities of winning, you can only see the positives in that.
But don't underestimate as well the how nervy someone like Karim Benzema can make players as well.
Yeah.
When you look at his record this season, PSG goals, Chelsea goals, now City goals. When that happens and balls are bouncing and bobbling around centre-backs and he's hovering about, you saw today Laporte didn't look comfortable, Diaz didn't look comfortable at all times in the game. Didn't play poorly, but at moments you thought they're not looking as comfortable as they normally look. Karim Benzema's about. That's why.
His movement is excellent. And sometimes you get games like that. You know, look at the games against Liverpool. They've been back and forth. They both conceded goals. Sometimes you just have to say the quality of the forward lines and the amount of people that get pushed forward for either team, sometimes they just guarantee goals. If Atletico Madrid are here, you're thinking it could be 0-0 or 1-0. As soon as Real Madrid turns up, we expected goals tonight. We expected chances for either end. And we all hope that'll be the same next week as well. But Manchester City, you think, will learn from the errors they conceded tonight, and you think they'll go back and say, right, it might help them, the fact that they're away from home and they don't need just to keep on piling forward. The 1-0 up, they can take the time and they can maybe manage the game a little bit better tonight. But it's a semi-finals of Champions League. Do things to certain people. You have to be able to handle every bit of pressure that will come with it, and it'll build up until next Wednesday.
I do agree with Pep though in that he's still, there's a confidence that can be born out of we're creating chances.
Yeah.
We're scoring goals, but we're creating chances. I think you'd be more nervous as a City fan and a City player if you weren't getting the opportunities and weren't creating and weren't dominating possession, etc. So I think there's a lot of positives still to take from tonight.
Yeah. Well, we loved it, and we're up here behind glass. I wonder what it was like to commentate on this evening. As you can see, almost everyone's left the stadium, but Seema and Owen are going nowhere.
We're going nowhere.
Tonight was too much fun. Seema, all yours.
Oh, Jake, wasn't it just? It was such a privilege to be sat here pitchside watching that game. I just heard Mac Owen saying in the studio there that City will have to learn from tonight. What will they learn?
Well, I think, first of all, they should be proud. You know, they should be proud of the way that they play, the way they took the game to Real Madrid. You know, they've won this trophy more than anyone. Manchester City have never won this trophy. They played absolutely outstanding to start the game. The thing is with Real Madrid, when you have experienced players, when you got David Alaba and Kroos and Modric and Benzema, you know, they can hang in there. And they hung in there. I don't know how they hung in there to come away with a 4-3, but they did. I thought Manchester City played fabulous, created so many chances. You think about the first goal, Benzema from nothing. You know, the second goal, Vinicius, a bit of magic with a dummy against Fernandinho. And then the pen was, the pen, you wouldn't even try that in the under-8s. So for him to do that in that moment of the game.
When he's missed 2 penalties at the weekend, by the way.
I mean, it's just the quality of that finish, the composure, even the execution of it. It's almost the most perfect Panenka you could ever score.
What does that tell us about his mentality?
He's just a class player. I mean, he's a fabulous player. Rio and I played against him in 2007. For him, as Rhys said, forget just the goals. His overall performance was outstanding. Vinicius Jr. had moments of magic. I thought Modric looked fabulous. But defensively, they look vulnerable. And they'll want Casemiro back on the side, definitely.
And you were sad, of course, in the gantry watching. What did you notice about Manchester City? Anything new?
I thought I noticed when they made the pitch big with Mahrez and Foden, it allowed for space to come back inside. I thought when Pep always talks about the rhythm of their passing, when they controlled the ball and passed it, moved Real Madrid around, pushed them back, they looked by far the better team. When the game got a bit open and a bit spread, then I thought they looked slightly vulnerable. But I think overall, Pep will be so proud of his players. The way they approached this game, the chances that they created, as Rio mentioned. I think he'll only be disappointed that they conceded 3.
Well, one thing we can all agree on is that we're very much looking forward to our trip to Madrid next week.
Indeed we are. Thank you both very much indeed. We'll have to go and find a bar somewhere in Manchester just to catch our breath, of course, after this, I think. Before we go any further, let's hear from Carlo Ancelotti. He's now joined Des down in the tunnel. Des, over to you. Look, it's a place you know well. How much of a chance do you give Real next week?
I give them more of a chance how the game's finished than I did 20 minutes into the game, because I thought the game was going to finish tonight as a contest. So I give them an opportunity. I give them a chance. I think there'll be goals. I think Manchester City will go through. I really do. I'm not going to change my mind just of what I've seen. If anything, it enhances my opinion on Manchester City, the strongest team. They just need to be a little bit more savvy in getting the job done next week. But I think it'll be a great game because Madrid can only play one way.
Those post-match interviews have been quite a good little insight, haven't they, into the psychology of the two camps. You see, like, the deflation a little bit from Pep, whether he said the right things. You can see the body language, where Carlo, a little smile on his face, drops a little chow in at the end. He will leave here relieved, won't he, after the way that game started?
Oh, 100%. And will he be more relieved that they've scored 3 or only conceded 4? I mean, in regards to the outcome of the game, yes, he would have expected to come in and be tough. But to be in the game and still be in a tie would be huge for him. And potentially off the back of a title, they could be winning the title on the weekend. So it could be huge for them next week.
I think it's this Real Madrid team. They've shown that they're able to suffer in games, but don't panic and understand. And they understand through the experience that there's going to be moments like that in the games, but they just stay in there. They stick in there. They're like a wasp, a little fly in the room that just you keep swatting, but they keep coming back. And so that character is something that could lead to fear in the opposing dressing room, because you know that they're going to be hard to get rid of. But I'm with the guys. I think Man City will have too much, and they'll show their quality in the second leg.
And I would now ask you what you're all expecting tomorrow night at Anfield, but I think the way it's going this season, we're best to leave that, because who knows what the Champions League's going to offer.
Goals, you want goals.
We'll get goals.
That's what I'm expecting, Liverpool win.
I thought you might be. So instead, I'll just let you know that you can see the game live on BT Sport tomorrow evening. Liverpool against Villarreal, going toe-to-toe, hoping to make it through to the final. And of course, the second game of this one, we can't wait. Next Wednesday, 7 o'clock here on BT Sport. Gentlemen, thank you all very much for your company this evening. Well, I hope you've had a chance to catch your breath, whichever way you look at it, whoever you support. That was a cracking semi-final. See you for more tomorrow night.